countless ingredients that make up the human body and mind, like all the components that make up me as an individual with my own personality. Sure, I have a face and voice to distinguish myself from others, but my thoughts and memories are unique only to me, and I carry a sense of my own destiny. Each of those things are just a small part of it. I collect information to use in my own way. All of that blends to create a mixture that forms me and gives rise to my conscience. I feel confined, only free to expand myself within boundaries.
We need to go somewhere. We don't know quite where, but you can almost taste it. What it is that we, I think, are getting set to take flight into what has always been our destiny. We're special.
In yoga, this is called as Pingala and Ida, two dimensions of your energy within you. Only when these two things are in balance, you have a proper perspective of life. Otherwise, you have become a very biological entity. Biology is a basis. Biology cannot be the peak of who we are. There are two fundamental forces working within us all the time. One is our instinct of survival. We want to survive. We can take survival to different levels, but essentially the instinct of survival is this one wants to, this limited entity wants to survive and do well. This instinct is there in all of us, it's there in every creature in the world. Another dimension is, there is something within you which always wants to expand. When you are in a survival mode, you want to build walls around yourself. Boundaries are important. This is survival instinct in all of us, that we want to build a wall, protection, self-preservation. But there's another dimension which wants to expand. If you don't empower that, if you just empower only your instinct of survival, then you will build a wall of self-preservation, and after some time you realize walls of self-preservation are also of self-imprisonment after some time.
Welcome back. So glad you tuned back in. Now, our journey has just begun here at Open-Minded Skeptik, but already, within 2 episodes, we've discussed the potential for extraterrestrial life, the likelihood that they've been visiting us for quite a while now, a government cover-up that spanned decades, the Atlanteans being African and the story of Atlantis being based on true events, the Younger Dryas being an extinction-level event that nearly wiped out humanity and our connection to the technologically advanced civilization that existed at the end of the Ice Age. Now, after such an ambitious start, where could I possibly go from here? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that the final frontier isn't some Star Trek Odyssey or a deep dive into the Marianas Trench to find some connection to our ancient past. No. The final frontier is a journey of mind, consciousness.
If we have to use yogic terminology for this, what you're referring to as consciousness is considered as jagruti, that means wakefulness. We do not consider wakefulness as consciousness. Wakefulness is the state of the body, wakefulness is the state of the mind, wakefulness is the state of the bioenergies within us, but that's not consciousness. What you're seeing as physical body, well, one thing I would like to clarify is, we do not look as brain as a very significant aspect, because we see intelligence is right across the system. Generally, in most people's understanding, I believe, a combination of memory and intelligence is considered as mind. Am I right? If you take this as a definition, it is a fact that every cell in our body carries millions of fold, much more memory than the entire brain can carry. Because these cells in the body remember even what happened 1,000,000 years ago. It remembers the skin tone of your forefathers from 1,000,000 years, nothing has changed. It never gets confused. So what you can carry in the brain as conscious memory, what every cell or every DNA is carrying is phenomenally more. And the chemical dimension of what is being conducted in every cell is far more complex than you could ever figure with your entire brain. So both in terms of intelligence and memory, the spread is much more.
Now, before going any deeper, I want to be sure that you're calibrated for the frequencies that's being transmitted here. If you're interpreting this video with only your mind, you're missing a big part of the message. Because your mind, much like your heart, are conscious in and of themselves. But the intelligence who is listening to me right now is an emergent factor, the culmination of a lifetime of experiences as well as billions of years of evolution. When's the last time that you have thought about how you think? Not just thinking a thought, but actually feeling how it happens. The feeling of the experience of your awareness being aware. The feeling from where the thoughts occur and how it is then transmitted to your brain for it to be translated into a language for you to express to others. Well, through the act of meditation, not only can you become more connected with your inner being, that is the I and I am, you can harness the power of the source that creates worlds. The human brain is a network of more than 100 billion neurons. Different experiences creating different neural connections, bringing about different feelings and emotions. And depending on which neurons get stimulated, certain connections become stronger and more efficient while others become weaker. So, someone who trains to become a musician will create stronger neural connections that link the two hemispheres of the brain in order to become musically creative. Virtually any skill or talent can be created through training. Therefore, becoming more spiritually balanced and enlightened isn't a matter of belief, but practice.
Are you hearing what we're getting at? If you're speaking about what you want and it feels bad to you when you're doing it, it's not helping. Don't effort when you are vibrationally out of sync. The first order of business is to get vibrationally in sync. The first order of business is to get in the vortex, to tune into who you really are. And then, the story I tell is the basis of my life. That sounds nice when you're in the vortex. I'm the creator of my own life experience. From inside the vortex, you feel that empowerment. You're glad that you are. You're looking around. You're rendezvousing with thoughts. It feels good to you. Goosebumps are shivering up and down you. As you read what you know to be, as you find affirmation with what the source within you is affirming all day, every day, it feels wonderful to you. It's life-giving. You feel frisky. You feel exhilarated, you see. So, what we're getting at, we think you know what we're getting at. To change your thinking, you've got to be up to speed with who you are. So what does that mean? Meditate, quiet your mind. When you quiet your mind, you'll stop thought. When you stop thought, you'll stop resistance. When you stop resistance, your vibration will raise. When you run, when you take walks, when you get out in nature, when you interact with those who you really love, when you make long lists of things that you appreciate, when you get on rampages of appreciation. But this is the big one. This is the big one that will make the most difference the fastest to you. This is the process that says, somehow, some way, I'm going to quiet my mind. I'm going to hypnotize myself. We don't mean that literally. I'm going to find some way of bringing myself into the vibrational vicinity of who I really am. And when I'm feeling measurably better, then I will offer my effort. Then I will set my goals. Then I will make my plans. Then I will call the airline and book my flights. Then I will go to the department store to purchase clothes. Then I will make love to the person I love. Then I will call someone on the telephone. In other words, get in the vortex and then, get in the vortex and then, get into the vortex and then.
And then you're ready to receive. And once you're in the receptive mode, fully tapped in, tuned in, turned on, you'll begin this inevitable shift from who you were to who you're now becoming with much less resistance. Divine alignments are at play here, and ultimately what has led you here, whether this is affirmation for what you already know to be true, or if you're hearing this for the first time. The ascension of mass consciousness is upon us. A major shift in the way we view the world and live our lives is underway. But I don't want you to be alarmed, just aware, because I submit to you that consciousness is not only something that you experience, it also flows through you. There is a higher source of consciousness that has existed since the dawn of creation, a source in which we are all individuations of. You see, much like an apple tree apples, the earth peoples. We're not just born into this world, we're born of it.
Look, here is a tree in the garden, and every summer it produces apples. And we call it an apple tree, because the tree apples. That's what it does. Now here is a solar system inside a galaxy, and one of the peculiarities of this solar system is that at least on the planet Earth, the thing peoples. In just the same way that an apple tree apples. Because you see, we grow out of this world in exactly the same way that the apples grow on the apple tree.
But let's, for the sake of argument, say that we human beings are intelligent. Now, if that is so, then the environment in which we live must also be intelligent. Because we are symptoms of that environment, and I don't for the life of me see how you can have intelligent symptoms of an unintelligent organization. We belong in this world. We didn't arrive here from somewhere else. We're not tourists in the universe. We're expressions of it. Like branches express the tree, or fruit express the tree. And so you will not find an intelligent organism living in an unintelligent environment. That is to say, the environment in which you live will be a system of mutual cooperation between a vast complexity of different kinds of organisms. And the total balance of that makes your life possible. In other words, human life goes with, as front goes with back, an extremely complex bacteriological world, which sometimes diseases us, but most of the time assists us by its colonies, its societies, its methods of reproduction. All these complex interrelations are the which, without which not, the sine qua non of there being blood and veins and bones and intestines and all that kind of thing. That's only the bacteriological world.
As above, so below. Source consciousness is the creator of worlds and not only stretches into the vastness of the cosmos, but is also at the root of the ground of being in the realm of quanta. Ask any quantum physicist and they'll tell you. If you think you know quantum physics, you don't know quantum physics. Schrodinger's cat aside, the world of protons and electrons and neutrons is strange, counterintuitive, and can only be partially seen at the atomic level with sophisticated microscopic imaging. Scientists can only quantify the mechanics with mathematical equations beyond the subatomic. Science does indeed yield insights into the laws governing the universe. However, there are still aspects of existence in this time-space reality where science will always fail if we continue to frame our understanding through the lens of Western academic ideologies. Scientists openly admit the standard model of physics is incomplete. Concepts like dark matter and dark energy are the results of gaps in the equations and understanding. Sacred geometry once had the stigma and taboo of being a pseudoscience and not relevant to understanding the universe in scientific circles. That stigma is beginning to fade as we're finally realizing much of what the ancients were trying to convey has been lost in translation. And much like studying and playing chess can improve your strategic and decision-making skills, the more you study sacred geometry, the more is revealed to your consciousness, and the more clearly you will see the patterns of creation.
Sacred geometry reverse engineers our method of scientific exploration. It does so by starting with the logical beginning of everything, which is nothing. Before there was something, there was nothing. The universe was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. The first thing to come into existence was a point. Before anything could be, it has to start with a point. A point occupies no space. It has no dimensions. It's so small it can't be measured, yet it encompasses everything within it. You could say this point is spirit. And what is the first thing that spirit does? It becomes conscious. It becomes aware. 360 degrees of awareness in the vast emptiness of the void. The ancient Egyptians believed that this innate aspect of consciousness is what sparked the process of creation. Then what did spirit do? The only thing it could do. It moved. From the vantage of pure physics or mathematics, motion is impossible in a void. You can't go anywhere, or fall, or rotate. There's just infinite emptiness in all directions. So in order to move, you need something in relation to move to. Before there was light, there was movement. Once spirit created a point in space, it was able to move to the edge of its awareness and expand consciousness, creating another circle to form the Vesica Pisces. This football-shaped opening in the middle is the geometric image through which light was created, and it is also the geometric shape through which our eyes receive light. Spirit would continue to expand its awareness, following the Genesis pattern, by moving to each intersection of the circumferences and expanding. The second movement creates the third circle, which forms the Holy Trinity. With each movement, more information unfolds. By the fourth motion, we have moved halfway around the first circle, 180 degrees from the first motion. On the fourth day of Genesis, exactly half of creation was completed. After 6 movements, 6 days, a geometric miracle takes place. We have a complete pattern, the seed of life. This complete pattern is called the seed of life, for it contains the recipe of life and all its potential.
And now that the seed has been planted, we'll continue our conversation in the next episode, where we'll dive even deeper into sacred geometry, the nature of consciousness, and the connection it has to source consciousness. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for being a member of the Open-Minded Skeptic community, and as always, stay blessed, question everything, but please, stay open-minded.